Hello, I am back. I'm Jason. I'm the wizard, and I am with Ashley, Sun Goddess Ashley.
Hi.
Is that right? Ashley,
Yeah.
Sun
Yeah.
Goddess Ashley. All
Mhm.
of that, right?
Yep.
Um, Welcome.
Thank
And
you.
you have uh, a website, sungoddessashley.com, and that has your astrology. It has your tarot reading. What else do you do?
Yeah, so I do tarot, I do Vedic astrology, and dream interpretation. Those are the services that I offer.
The main three there,
Mhm. Yeah,
and to get readings, people can just go to sungoddessashley.com and set one up, right?
that's correct.
Yeah, good. So, um, we're in a very trying time right now. With the coronavirus, it's uh, it's affecting the whole world,
Mhm.
and what I'm looking at is with practitioners who are professionals, right? Like yourself. It's have you noticed where there's a difference in um, the, the types of readings that you've been giving lately, where people are you noticing if they're in a fearful place about it, or if they're still like you know looking to see their relationships or their financial aspects like normal, or is it affecting people out there?
You know, it's actually funny because aside from the what's currently happening with the coronavirus,
Hmm.
just like the regular readings that we do are mostly on career and relationships. And
Yeah.
I've actually found that people still want to know about their career and relationships. So my clients that call in are still asking about the same things. So as far as having like an influx of people wanting to know about the coronavirus, it's not really, that hasn't been the case for me. I've had one person recently um, who worked for the hospital system and needed to take a leave because the energy was just so heavy, right? And she just couldn't function. So, without going into too much detail about that, I think proportionally, there hasn't really been much of a difference as far as like what people are asking about with the clientele. Because I think that people get a lot of the information from the news anyway, or they'll just talk amongst their friends, and information is just so free that I don't know. I haven't had a lot of people ask me about it. What about you?
um, I've had a few people ask about it. I have, like it's like in certain parts of the world it's not as pertinent as far as people are in a lockdown situation, or they're relegated to their homes. But it's like the people remain hopeful that it's not going to go on for a very long time. um, I'm trying to temper them a little bit, to be flexible with their own perception of it. So if it goes on a little bit longer than they expect it, that they don't freak out, that they don't wipe themselves out. And I've been talking to a lot of what I would call light workers,
Mm-hmm.
healers, and I would definitely put you in that category as well, because you're someone who looks to shed light on someone's path forward, and without it sounding too airy fairy.
Right.
Being a light worker, because it's important to activate one's spirit in times of crisis. And I know that you, as a Vedic astrologer, have a lot of tools at your disposal to see, um, like the mechanics of that, to see when and how that might apply. You said that you have a wheel, a chart there that can help us look at
Yeah, I
that.
would love to be able to share some of the current transits that's happened. maybe you could shed light on some of that. And then also, one of the things that you were saying is that people are hopeful, right? People are very hopeful on this not lasting, forever. It's not, nothing ever lasts forever. So we know this, and just
Mhm.
the expectation that this isn't going to be drawn on for that much longer is really due to the part that everyone is playing as far as staying home and being considerate to not spread this, right?
Yeah.
um, but I feel like things will change. Things are changing because people are kind of relegated now to this area of their life, being at home so much. We have to adapt, right? Even for you and I and other light workers, other readers, we've had to become more resourceful and more kind of rely more on technology, and doing more Zoom meetings and whatnot. So I think a lot of people, this is giving them a push to move their business online, where if they've been procrastinating or like, how do I reach more people? I know I should probably do, social media or networking or marketing or whatever online. This, that push to get people going, that it needed to happen.
Yeah.
So I think it's important, and it's a good direction that everyone is kind of getting on board with. So
Yeah, I find that, for myself, it's like because I work out of, 5, 6 different stores in Los Angeles and Bakersfield and all, it's like the sense of community, of camaraderie with the communities that I am involved with. It's like I miss that the most. I miss that, just that human interaction. And and in the last week, I've discovered Facebook Live, and in an attempt to stay connected with people, and because I am called to the work, as far as one of my superpowers, if I may say so, is like being able to calm people, to create sacred space,
that's
and
actually very true.
and
Personally, I've experienced that.
and I don't take it lightly, as far as that uh, let's say talent or gift, right? It's just what it is. It's like my own chance in the world have been used just for those purposes, and so there's like a certain quality that I have,
Yeah.
and it's not being braggadocious. It's just that's what it is.
No,
And
it's the talent that you share with all of this. It's your gift that you share.
and it is a calling as
Mhm.
well, to be able to make that available to
Yeah.
uh, people at this time, because there's a lot of question marks, a lot of question marks.
Yeah, and we don't miss our community. We're just getting connected in a different way. So, working at all of these stores that you're working at, and having missed that, we don't have to. We can still be connected, right? So,
For the time being, yes. I mean, it will open up new avenues, but I will be the first to jump back into some of the locales that I've grown accustomed to,
mhm,
only because I feel that it's part of the work too, to balance out the online, the digital self that goes out, and the personal self that
right.
is out there. So show me what you have, as far as you have a what is it that you have? Explain.
Yeah, we're going to look at the current transits right now through Vedic astrology. So I'll show you the program that I am the most comfortable with using.
Hmm.
You can see this here. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, great. So this is actually the current, well, it's 10 minutes ago. That's when we started this, but it's 8:18, 8:18:08 p.m. In LA. So that's where we're located. So this shows you where all of the planets are in the constellation. So like I said, I'm a Vedic astrologer. I use the sidereal coordinates. So it's going to be a different measurement than the tropical system uses. But um, this is currently like if you were to look and see where the moon was, you would see the backdrop of the Aries constellation. So the moon is with Venus right now, today in Aries. And it looks like Venus is actually at the end of Aries. I just noticed that she's like right about to enter Taurus, probably tomorrow. And she's been very bright in the sky. You can see her. So if you go outside tonight, you look up in the sky, you will definitely see Venus. She is so bright. And she will be sitting next to the moon, so you can easily locate her. If you see the moon, look to the star that's next to the moon, that's Venus. So she's about to move into her own sign, and this is when things will kind of be a little bit more calm and soothed. If you think people have been pretty anxious lately, and I think that Venus is about pleasure, it's about, relaxation and enjoyment and creativity. We're kind of getting used to this new dynamic and this new way of life. And so Venus moving into her sign of Taurus is definitely going to be like, people are going to be settled, be more grounded, and more focused to then want to create instead of the panic as much.
Right.
Now, with being a leader, with being a counselor, with being a therapist, a reader, someone who is a guide, a light worker, the planet that is most indicated in the zodiac and in our sky with those attributes is Jupiter. Okay.
Can I ask why that is?
Yeah.
Why is Jupiter associated with that type
because Jupiter is about enlightenment. It expands and grows your awareness. Okay. It's also a benefic. It's one of the good planets. It's the planet that wants to bless you, and it's a planet of luck and hope and growth and expansion and everything that has to do with like illumination of making everything bigger, right? Expanding your growth, right? It's all about growth, and it's all about expanding your perception of things. It also represents beliefs. So not just hopes, but beliefs. What do you believe in? And the reason that Jupiter has these attributes is because you also have to look at the signs that it rules. So Jupiter rules Pisces and it rules Sagittarius. Pisces is the sign of the mystic, right? It's a spiritual planet or a spiritual sign. So Jupiter is a spiritual planet. And then you also have Sagittarius, which is about setting goals and kind of wanting to venture out and learn new things. And it's all about kind of your belief system. It's the preacher, right?
Yeah.
The teacher and the preacher is really can be seen with Sagittarius, and that's that side of Jupiter. And then we also have the mystic and the spiritual enlightened one, and the one that wants to get close to God as well in a different sense. That's so you have like religion and spirituality that are kind of two sides of the same coin with Jupiter. Anyway, so Jupiter has been, and if you can see down here, Jupiter is at the very bottom. It's next to these three other planets. We have Saturn on the right, then you have Mars, which is this red planet that's next to Jupiter. Then you have Jupiter, which is the gray planet here. And then you have K2, which is the south node of the moon that's to the left of Jupiter. So Jupiter and K2 are still occupying the sign of Sagittarius, the constellation of Sagittarius. So Jupiter is kind of non-discriminate in what it gives blessings to. So if it's sitting with, or making things bigger. So if it's sitting with K2, it's making the element of K2 bigger. You can never underestimate the power of Jupiter to spread conditions, okay? K2 is a malefic. K2 is about isolation. It's about removal from society. It's kind of, on the higher vibrational aspect, it can be like the monk or the ascetic who removes itself from, it's like social distancing,
Yeah.
basically. That's K2. But it can also do things, it can be sudden deaths, mysterious things that just happen all of a sudden. A lot of this spread of this virus, again, the spreading of conditions is Jupiter, and that unknown disease is K2. A lot of that kind of confusion around what is happening, what is this, how does it get spread, how, you know, there are no symptoms, right? Some people can be asymptomatic, they can be carriers, and some people die and some people recover. We were just thinking not too long ago that it only affected the elderly, but actually, you know, the youth, we've seen more cases of people who are younger actually getting sick and dying
Yeah.
from this. This
Yeah.
is serious. And it's kind of like, who gets to stay and who's going? We don't know, right? They say if you have a compromised immune system, well, healthy people get sick too. So it's a little bit of a confusing kind of virus, and you've got Jupiter that spreads that. Normally, Jupiter in its own sign, it's about spreading of knowledge and awareness. It is still spreading awareness, but of what? Of K2 things, because K2 is sitting in that house.
Right.
So with Jupiter, the reason I really wanted to sort of hone in on Jupiter is because it represents what we are doing in the purpose, a sharing of our gifts. Okay. So it's sort of the indicator of what our purpose and what we're here to do. So I'm going to go ahead and share then this wheel. Let's see if we can do that. Okay. 1 second. Okay, so now I've got this different screen. Can you see the planets moving?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look in the top right-hand corner up here, we see March 27th, 2020. That's when we're shooting this. And we're going to move it forward by days. So we're going to see Jupiter then start to move down here at the bottom. So we're now at March 28th, and Jupiter is at 29 degrees, 53 minutes of Sagittarius. We move it 1 more degree, boom, there we go. March 29th, it's at 0 degrees and 1 minute arc of Capricorn. So it's now entered Capricorn. This is huge. Jupiter usually takes 1 year to go through a full sign. The fact that it's moving into Capricorn in 2 days, it's also a quick transit. Jupiter has been moving very quickly through Sagittarius. But that's actually a good thing if we don't want to prolong this confusion, right? It's like ready for it to move out of there. Now, when Jupiter moves into Capricorn, it's in its sign of debilitation. So it tends to kind of temper the spread of things. Mm. Okay, that's a good thing. Yes. In this case. But it can also be a time of like finally processing everything. It's kind of like we're going to see, it's not that people won't have hope, but they're going to be a lot more realistic about, whoa, what just happened? And it's just sort of like, it takes the blindfold off. It takes away the mystery. Okay, so there's more understanding of like, what are the actual numbers here? It's sort of like a kind of a, I guess, I don't know. The word is eluding me, but it's kind of like we're taking stock of everything that just happened. That's what I had meant to say. So Saturn is exalted in Capricorn. Saturn rules Capricorn, and we have Mars exalted in Capricorn, which it's there now. We have Saturn rules Capricorn, which it's there now. We have this Mars-Saturn conjunction, and then soon Jupiter will enter this conjunction. So you have Saturn, Mars, and then Jupiter all in a room together. So they're trying to powwow and figure out what's next. So who's the strongest in all of this? Well, Jupiter is actually weak here because it's in its sign of debilitation. Saturn owns this sign, so it's comfortable. It's like kind of acting normal. It's acting accordingly. And Mars is super strong. So you've got a normal functioning planet, a weak planet, and a very strong planet all together kind of, you know, in this conference, right? Yeah. So the fact that Saturn is very much the opposite in the way that it behaves as Jupiter is going to temper a lot of this spread. It's going to give us concrete results. It flattens the curve, to use basic, current terminology of what this is. It actually slows down the spreading of conditions. So Saturn slows down. It creates blocks, it creates limitations. Mars is the military. Okay. Being that it's very, very strong in Capricorn, we've been seeing Mars acting in a way that benefits the people, right? So the military aid, we've seen tanks, we've seen the police getting involved to sort of enforce curfews, and there's been like sort of regimented things put in place for buying groceries at the grocery store. So you can see all this playing out with how these planets are operating in accordance to their sign.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of where we're going to be seeing new laws put in place, new rules, new regulations put in place with Jupiter entering Capricorn and being in this sign of Capricorn. So we like that it's moving away from K2. And by this time on March 29th, you also have Venus in her sign of Taurus, which is like it's luxuries, it's food, it's beauty, it's comfort, it's security. We'll start to feel more secure with this transit. And then you also have the moon there, which is the mood. It's the mood of the day. Wherever the moon goes, it takes on the mood of that planet, and it moves very quickly. So the mood of that 2.5 days of being in Taurus, it's with Venus. And it's like going to be kind of we're going to have some good news here at the end of March. I'm predicting that we have good news. And I actually feel like collectively we will return to health. There's going to be better health. Because when you look at health, the planet in the chart you really want to look at is the sun. The sun is about strength. And right when people say, oh, this virus, I don't know if you've heard this, but people are saying like the damper, wetter areas have been spreading the virus because it's like flu season, and the hotter temperatures kind of kill that bacteria, and it makes people are healthier during the summer, right? There's more sunlight to kill any of the viruses. So the sun is in Pisces right now. It's in the Pisces constellation. Okay. So Pisces is what? It's the sign of the ocean. It's water. It's damp, right? And it's also the final sign of the zodiac. So it's kind of the resting place. And we've seen collectively of this, and sending people home, right? There's been a lot of deaths. That's Pisces. It's so generous, and it's sending people back to source, if you want to say it that way.
That's like putting a lighter touch to it.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
on a happier note.
Yeah, it's giving away free passes now to come to the other side if you want to join that team. So, and I come from this school of thought, or this philosophy that life is cyclical. It's not linear. I don't prescribe to the Western mindset of like a linear, birth and death, and that's it. There's a ending, a middle, and a beginning, a middle, and an end. Everything is cyclical. Everything is cyclical in nature. There's spirals, there's circles. We'll come back. I believe in reincarnation. Doesn't mean you have to, but I don't feel like this is the end.
As a past life therapist, I am for that.
Yeah.
I see too much of the energetic cycles at play, and just to like recap, right? This is for Los Angeles, right? This is like,
well, but it's also the world. I mean, right now, you have to look at the time zones, but really, if you were to say, I don't know how far ahead, like the East Coast is 3 hours ahead.
Yeah.
So it would change the ascendant 3 hours, but basically the moon would still be in the same sign. So
I see. I
Everywhere
see.
in the world is going to share this chart. It would just have a different ascendant. And then also you might have a different moon sign, just depending, on if it's a full day or half day and how close it is to the cusp there. There's one thing that I kind of forgot that I was going to come back to, and that's the sun. So the sun is the bringer of health and vitality, right, in the summer. And we see that, I'm going to go ahead and move the chart forward here.
Hmm.
And right here, April 13th, 2020, in the evening, it says the connection's unstable. I hope it's not freezing.
No,
Are
it's
you
fine.
hearing? Okay, good. Sometimes we get a little bit of freezing. Okay, so the sun then enters Aries. Now the sun rules the sign of Leo. That's where it's strong. Its exaltation sign, the sign that is most powerful is in Aries. So health, bouncing back to health, springing back to health, April 13th. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm really seeing this as being sort of the beginning of things getting a lot better. So this whole month, health is going to be such a focus. There will, from April 13th, this is my prediction. From April 13th, we also have 22nd. It
You'll
would
have
be in a
to
different.
repeat that. I'm sorry. You were losing the connection as you're moving it there.
Oh
Repeat that.
no, let's move back. Yeah. So okay, so the new moon is going to be on April 22nd, 2020,
Yeah.
4222020. Lots of twos and fours, right?
Hmm.
Bringing things back into balance, just numerologically, I think that's fascinating. But the new moon is going to be in Aries, which is sidereally. Don't forget, this is Vedic coordinates here. Okay, so that new moon in Aries is going to be the initiation or the beginning of new health coming back in. And I do believe there's going to be vaccinations, there's going to be, you know, this problem will be solved. And then the rest for Sun strong Aries up until May 13th. So from April 13th to May 13th, and then we have new moon in there on the 22nd. This is going to be the highlight of society kind of returning to health, I believe.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that it can't happen again, but this case, I do believe will be kind of we'll get on top of it. I
Right.
do feel that.
Right.
And I feel like, you know, this can happen again because of it. And I think this is really shining light onto not just like stereotyping certain cultures and their behaviors. I think what I've heard was this originated from, the meat market or or maybe bats or something like that.
Yeah.
But the US especially is in huge production of factory farmed animals that are very sick, that have dis-ease. And so, this could be a trend because factory farming is kind of a recent thing. I mean, within, I don't know, maybe the past 10 years or so, I don't know what really exactly when it started, to see things come up like this.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's and I'm not saying you have to be like a vegan or a vegetarian. If you want to eat meat, that's fine. But I think factory farming is really inhumane. I wasn't expecting the lecture, the discussion even, or to be a lecture and go on a soapbox about this. But if we're really talking about the coronavirus and what's really happening right now, we have to kind of be aware of that. This has impacted us so greatly on a global level, and it can happen again. We need to have change the laws. So these laws can be changed, like we said, with Mars and Saturn going through Capricorn, right? A change of structure, but for what? What kind of changing? Can we,
Come back to the main screen if you can,
okay, I'll exit out of this.
because I just to in order to wrap
Yeah.
up, I wanted to ask, as far as the that again, that aspect of the healers, of the light workers, to come into a place of an awareness of their gifts, and to uh, bring it out into the world, to use their abilities to uh, raise the vibration. And if someone has knowledge, because not every light worker just has the same gift, right? It's like there's different ways of expressing it.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about with the manufacturing of meat and all, just things like that, how um someone, if they have like uh, a better system, a better ideas in how to clean that up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that this, at this time, it's a wake up call for us to clean up our act, and in a lot of different ways, and to kind of come together more as a like in this country, because there's a lot of divide in our politics and all. Do you see that as like perhaps changing?
Like it is a wake up call, and I'm speaking as an American. I'm not a political leader or an activist,
Hmm.
but I do live in America, and I know this is a global issue. So, but it has really shed light on the American healthcare system
Hmm.
when you compare other countries that had access to tests and the system in place, and even providing pay for workers that have to stay home. Their other countries' systems are so far much more advanced than ours, and it is a wake up call. I think Americans in general are pretty unhealthy people because of the diet and the lifestyle. There's a lot of fast food. Again, factory farming animals is not natural. People used to grow, fruits and vegetables. And if you remember in school, we had these pyramids. Like there's a poster of the food pyramid, and you have all the fruits and the vegetables at the bottom, and then the greens, and then the fruit, and then at the top you kind of had like meat and dairy, and then that's it. It's like at the top. It's not a staple at the bottom. You don't need to eat meat every day unless you're anemic or something, but even then, eat iron rich foods like spinach, right? So anyway, I think this does. And if this isn't a wake up call for our healthcare system, then there will be something else, because something that is not working and that is broken just has kind of a way of being the squeaky wheel that needs the grease, right?
Right. Of remaining broken.
Of
And
remaining broken.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So what can we do, Jason? I mean, other apart, from dream interpretation and Vedic astrology and tarot, what is our part in this?
Oh, you're asking me.
Yeah.
Well, I feel that, like my part in it is, I and it's funny because I tease that, sometimes I just jump into something without, like, figuring it all out first. Um,
Like
I
intuition.
it, and it's like I don't know all the time, like, what exactly something is going to lead to,
Right.
but sometimes it's important just to begin the process. And I feel that we don't have the answer to all the situations, right? But we might inspire someone who has, like, a little bit more of the information to activate that in the world where they don't hold back on it.
Yeah.
If someone has like a really good idea about something, they may just like, well, no one cares or whatever. They may doubt themselves. And if we come into their uh, social sphere, and it's like, oh, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can start talking about it. uh, I encourage that, where anyone who has like more of the specifics, for them to put it out there.
Hmm.
And I know that there are people who work on uh, like creating like a structure, whether it's monetary or health related. It's like they're out there, they're working on it. And it's like we're very much a social community, and we need each other as people. This is hopefully a hiccup in that kind of shakes us up. I was doing this one reading for myself to see what exactly the is happening at this time. And with three cards, it told me everything, which was the Six of Swords, the Moon, and the Tower. And both those Six of Swords and the Moon are about the uncertainty, and where there's a lot of influences that are outside of our realm of control, that are shaking us up. They're bringing the storm to us.
Hmm.
and and how we respond to that. Do we freak out? Do we center ourselves? I mean, part of my of what I feel I'm able to do right now, what you're able to do is to center people so that they don't get wiped out by this storm. And then when the storm passes, it's like, okay, how can we rebuild in a way that is productive, that is uh, that we value ourselves as humanity.
Yeah. And I just the part about you saying like how we're just very connected, how all of us are just so connected. I hate to make light of this, but if we didn't know how connected we were before this virus, pretty sure we know how connected we now are. Just the speed in which something like this can spread. So it can show us something beautiful, actually. You know, it can show us about how actually we are very strong.
Yeah,
It's just it's been a reminder.
and this is us after a couple weeks, right? Wait until
Yeah,
another 3 weeks pass,
yeah.
and if we're still in a place of isolation, if men start to let their beards grow and stuff. That's what I'm doing. I'm just going to let my beard grow.
But there
But
is hope. There's definitely light after the storm. There's always sort of the calm after the tower, right? And we are
yeah,
definitely seeing some rough transits with Rahu and Ketu sort of taking over, as I showed in the chart.
yeah,
But there are really beautiful transits then to balance it out too. So that's what I like about forecasting. That's what I like about these tools that we have with tarot, is we can see what's coming. We can give an indication of how long will it be before we get out of this mess. And it can be, people need to have like those markers and things to look forward to, because things to look forward to gives us hope. Again, Jupiter.
do you see something as far as upcoming, is like any changes, or anything that you can do directly to affect a positive change?
Well, I did mention, the transits that are coming up, from April to May, April 13th to May 13th being, you know, like, just to sort of recap, like a healthier period where we're people's immune systems are healthier, and we're maybe finding a vaccination. And then also with Jupiter moving into Capricorn in the next couple days is going to like flatten the curve, as we would say. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
so those things I do see coming up. And then what I can do personally is just share the information, and also just stay home.
That's a big part of it, right? Just hide out.
That's the part we can all do. Well, we're not really hiding out now, right? We're sharing our knowledge.
Yeah.
We're making most of it.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. It is uh, about like staying put, but also our digital selves just flying around the world. And,
Do you want
and
to pull a card?
um, yeah, go ahead and pull a card.
You want
Well,
me to?
yeah, I want you to pull a card from
Okay.
your new deck.
Yeah, I got a new deck. See, I'm not sponsored, but I got these ether. I don't know if you can see the guy there. It's the Ethereal Visions Tarot. I had it maybe a few months ago even. It just sat there unopened, and I just felt like, I'm gonna open these today.
Hmm.
So I thought I would just let's let's pull a message for the conversation today.
Looks like a seven of wands.
Yeah.
What do you get? What's your message, Sun Goddess Ashley?
Well, the Seven of Wands is about an obstacle that can be conquered. It's about hard work and determination. It's staying on top of something. So yeah, it's a battle. It's something that we'll have to fight, and we are fighting it. But we're above it. We have an advantage. Okay, the human race is so resilient. So, I mean, there has been sickness and illness in the past, and there will continue to be. This is not the end of the human race. um, Even things like talking about the end of the human race, we talk about like climate change and environmental issues that are coming up. This is something that we're going to have to kind of fight and struggle, but we can make a difference. So the environmental conditions have improved with this virus and causing everyone to kind of withdraw. So I see the Seven of Wands as being like basically something that we can conquer with a lot of effort. It's a bit of a scramble, and it's kind of to think on our feet, but we're responding. There's first responders as well that we see within this card, but this, like, it's almost like the firefighter putting out the fire metaphorically.
Beautiful.
So, and I feel like that's kind of the message of this, what we're doing with the coronavirus. And then I just have to show this. I'm sorry. This is the shadow card. The shadow card is the Fool, and it's a fresh start, a new beginning. So there's hope that the Fool has, and he's just taking a leap into the unknown and trusting that everything will work out. And usually it does with the Fool, because it's the end of something and yet the beginning of something new.
Right. Right. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Sun Goddess Ashley, at sungoddessashley.com. Ashley,
Yeah.
Ashley,
Uh-huh.
right?
And then if you want to
.com.
follow me on Instagram, I'm SunGoddess_Ashley or Sun Goddess Astrology.
Thank you so much. And that was really enlightening, all of it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you for giving me the opportunity to share. And I really appreciate you having this platform. Yeah, very grateful.
Thank you. Have a beautiful and blessed week upcoming, and we'll do this again.
Okay.
All right. Bye.